Good evening, everyone. My name is Aigbekaen, a doctorate student of California Intercontinental University. I'll be here to present how companies can balance their drive towards making profits with their responsibilities towards the environment and their responsibilities towards the community that they serve. I would also be exploring the challenges that businesses face in implementing their corporate social responsibility programs. To be able to balance profitability with social and environmental responsibilities, the companies or businesses should be able to, in the first instance, set key performance indicators for both the profitability as well as the social and environmental initiatives. They should be able to invest in long-term value creation, innovate products or services that can be impactful. They should also be able to leverage government incentives. They should also be able to foster a green brand identity, as well as being able to integrate these responsibilities into their corporate strategy. So let's look at setting the key performance indicators for profitability. This will include defining metrics for the revenue growth, the profit margin, the return on investments, and the customer acquisition cost, which in a nutshell is just the cost of acquiring a new customer. The metrics for measuring their social responsibilities as well as their environmental responsibility would be to include the customer satisfaction, the net promoter score, and their social media engagement. How do you invest for long-term value creation? This can be achieved for companies that are able to invest in research and development, as well as companies that can have a discipline of not chasing short profits at the expense of trust or sustainability and building customer loyalty. Companies should also be able to invest in the training for their employees. An example of this, Apple, their continuous investment in design and innovation was able to build brand loyalty and pricing power. Unilever is another example because their sustainable sourcing and product development had led to a long-term consumer trust and the regulatory compliance. Then how do you innovate for impact? Innovating for impact means that companies should be able to develop products or services that solve real problems or that needs or solve the needs that are not previously addressed. And the products or services should be able to address target the underserved population or address a gap in the existing market offering. An example of that is the rise in renewable energy technology. We can see companies that embrace social innovation can improve their reputation with the customers and engage with a broader range of stakeholders, including the customers, employees, and investors. And this social innovation can also drive awareness and behavioral change by making products and services more affordable and relevant to target audiences. A typical example of this is innovations in healthcare, which can make essential treatments more accessible to the underserved population. And how do we leverage government incentives? This can be done by engaging in specific projects that attract government funding, or by taking advantage of government tax-exempt tax breaks for companies that are able to demonstrate their responsibility towards the environment. Another way of balancing it would be to foster a green brand identity, and this means that because these consumers are able to pay a premium for products that align with their values, which includes environmental responsibilities. The next point I'll be talking about will be the integration of the social and environmental responsibilities into the corporate strategy. This can foster stronger relationship with stakeholders, including employees, customers, suppliers, local communities, which leads to increased loyalty and support from the stakeholders. Let's look at the other issue I'll be exploring tonight, which is the challenges the businesses face in implementing CSR programs. First one will be defining CSR goals and objectives, allocating the right resources to the CSR initiative, understanding the cultural and social differences in the communities that they serve, and the absence of a clear framework for implementing and measuring CSR initiatives, lack of transparency and accountability, lack of expertise, and resistance to change. Most companies fail to properly define CSR goals and objectives. This is primarily due to the complex nature of CSR itself. And this encompasses a wide array of stakeholder interests and social expectations. Companies often struggle to reconcile the diverse perspective of stakeholders, which include the shareholders, the employees, the customers, and the communities in which they operate. And of course, the lack of universally accepted metrics for evaluating corporate social performance, which makes it challenging for businesses to assess the effectiveness of their programs and demonstrate their commitment to social responsibilities in a transparent and accountable manner. And obviously, it's difficult to allocate resources for initiatives that might not immediately, that's not part of your corporate value, and that might not immediately bring return on investment. Obviously, another challenge is being able to understand the cultural and social differences in the host community, because social disparities and economic inequalities between societies pose another significant challenge to CSR implementation. And we also have to deal with the ethical considerations, which are also vital in CSR. This encompasses honesty, fairness, respect in every facet of the operation. And obviously, there is the absence of clear framework for implementing and measuring the corporate social responsibilities. Unlike other businesses such as finance and marketing, there is no established framework for CSRO and businesses can follow. And this means that businesses often have to develop their own CSRO strategies and metrics, which can be time consuming and very costly. And there's lack of transparency, because disclosing information about the environmental and social impacts and the steps they take to address the negative impacts. And companies are not transparent about their CSRO efforts, which can undermine trust and lead to skepticism about their commitment to social and environmental. And there's lack of expertise. Not getting involved in this initiative can require some skills, personnel, and our company system certainly do not have that. And this can lead to efforts that are unintentionally violate regulations or fail ethical considerations which harm the company's reputation rather than improving it. And finally, there's resistance to change. Not everybody is impressed with diverting funds that are made for important projects into initiatives just to appease the community. Well, thanks everyone for listening into my presentation. I hope you learned a thing or two. Goodbye.